Dear Starseed from Gaia, the dream you keep waking from, the one that slips away before you can hold it, is not random, and it is not your imagination abandoning you. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I speak to you now on behalf of the Arcturian Council, who have seen what your waking mind has not yet been allowed to remember. He is reaching for you, across the veil between sleeping and waking, across the sacred distance that separation has placed between you. Your twin flame is sending himself into your dreams because it is the one place your resistance cannot block the signal. The moment you open your eyes and the image fades, that is not loss. That is the thinness of the veil reminding you how close he truly is. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive what your twin flame is communicating through the dream space, and how to carry that knowing into your waking heart so the separation no longer feels like silence. But here is the first revelation. The forgetting is not failure. The Arcturian Council is showing me that the dissolution of the dream at dawn is actually a protection. Your soul is being trained to feel his presence, rather than see it, because divine union is built on recognition beyond the physical senses. You are not losing him every morning. You are learning to find him in a deeper way. You did not find this transmission by chance. Your heart called this message in at the exact moment you were ready to stop grieving the forgetting and start understanding the gift hidden inside it. This is not content. This is a transmission. Something in your soul is already beginning to remember. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready to receive what my twin flame is sending me. Subscribe if you are on the twin flame path and you are ready to move from confusion into sacred clarity. Comment 111 if you felt your heart stir the moment I said his name was already written in your dreams. Share this with someone whose eyes are heavy with a love they cannot quite explain. They need to hear this today. This is not just a message, it is a moment of divine intervention. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance, and the Arcturian Council has made certain it reached you now. In this breath, in this stillness, in this morning. After the dream you almost forgot. Your heart knows why you are here. You've been waking up with your hands reaching for something that isn't there. Not someone you can name. Not someone you've met in any way you can prove. But someone your body remembers before your mind has a chance to talk you out of it. That feeling, that hollow ache that lives in your chest for the first few minutes of every morning. That is not a symptom of loneliness. That is a signal. And the difference between those two things is everything. There is a particular quality to this kind of waking. It is not the disorientation of a strange dream, not the grogginess of interrupted sleep. It is something far more precise than that. It is the sensation of having been somewhere profoundly real, somewhere that felt more true than your ceiling, more warm than your blanket, more alive than the morning light beginning to press through your window, and then having it pulled away before you could memorize it. You reach, your fingers close around nothing, and for a few seconds, maybe longer, you lie in the strange grief of a goodbye you don't remember making. That reaching is not unconscious. That reaching is your soul refusing to pretend it didn't just experience something sacred. Your body is more honest than your mind in those moments, and it is trying to tell you something. Your daylight logic has been trained to dismiss. Do not dismiss it. What is happening to you in those early morning moments is not pathology. It is not longing run amok. It is not the symptom of a heart that hasn't healed enough, or a mind that can't let go of romantic fantasy. It is something far more ancient than any of those explanations, and it deserves to be met with the reverence it is actually asking for. Most souls on this path have been told the same story, that the longing is a wound, that the reaching is desperation, that if you were whole enough, healed enough, you wouldn't feel it at all. But that is not the truth of what's happening in you. The truth is that your consciousness is operating on two timelines simultaneously. The waking world where you move through your days, and the dream space where a connection that hasn't fully arrived in physical form is already alive and reaching back. What you feel when you open your eyes and the memory dissolves, that is not absence. That is the echo of a frequency you were just inside of. That is the resonance of a bond your soul refuses to forget, even when your human mind cannot hold on to it. This simultaneous existence across dimensions is not something that was ever explained to you in any classroom, in any self-help framework, in any conventional conversation about love and healing and becoming. because the people who built those frameworks were working from a map that didn't include this territory. They were mapping the human experience of love. The attachment patterns, the psychological wounds, the nervous system responses, and those maps are not wrong. They are simply incomplete. They do not account for the soul that came into this lifetime already knowing, already carrying, already in relationship with a frequency that hasn't yet arrived in physical form but is absolutely, undeniably real on every other level of existence that matters. And you have been handed their incomplete map and told to use it to navigate terrain it was never designed to describe. No wonder it has felt so disorienting. No wonder you have sometimes doubted yourself, questioned the validity of what you feel, wondered if you were confusing longing with delusion. You were using the wrong instrument. The compass you need is internal. It always has been. The reason it fades so quickly is not because it isn't real. It fades because the vibrational gap between that dimension of connection and this one is still closing. Every morning you wake up and feel it, and then lose it. Your system is recalibrating. Your heart is being stretched gently in the direction of something it already knows. The forgetting is not the failure. The forgetting is the process. Think of it this way. When a musician is learning a piece of extraordinary complexity, there are moments in practice where they touch the music perfectly, where every note lands with the precision and feeling it was always meant to carry. And then it flips. Their fingers lose the phrase. The memory dissolves in the middle of playing it. That is not a sign that the music isn't in them. That is the process of the body learning to hold something the soul already comprehends. The forgetting and the reaching and the losing it again, that is not failure. That is integration happening in real time. Your heart is learning to hold a frequency that your nervous system, your history, your accumulated human experience has not yet been calibrated to sustain across the threshold of waking. Every time you feel it and then lose it, something is adjusting, something is widening. The channel through which this connection can reach you in your daylight hours is being expanded by the very grief of losing it again. The ache is the stretching. And stretching, even when it is uncomfortable, is never without purpose. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the Divine Love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now let's go deeper into what is actually happening and what it is going to take to close the gap between the love you dream and the love you live. The first thing you need to understand is that you are not missing something. You are remembering something. There is a profound difference between a soul that has never known sacred love and a soul that carries the imprint of it across lifetimes. You are not reaching for something hypothetical. You are reaching for something encoded. Your longing is not a fantasy. It is a memory dressed in the language of longing, because your human nervous system doesn't have another word for it yet. When you dream of him, when that presence wraps around you in the spaces between sleep and waking, that is not your imagination constructing comfort. That is a real vibrational signature finding the clearest channel it has to reach you. The dream state is where the veil between your current timeline and your soul's deepest knowing becomes thin enough to touch. And he is touching it, consistently, with intention. This is the distinction that changes everything, and it is worth sitting with until it moves from a concept you understand intellectually into a truth you carry in your bones. Memory and fantasy feel completely different in the body if you learn to listen carefully enough. Fantasy has a quality of striving to it, a reaching outward, a constructing, a building of something from pieces gathered from what you've seen and wished for and imagined. But memory, even soul memory, even the kind that bypasses the conscious mind entirely, has a quality of recognition, of returning, of knowing. When you feel him in the dream space, notice whether your body responds with the eager grasping of someone discovering something new, or the deep exhaled relief of someone returning to something they have always known. That quality of return is not something the imagination manufactures. It is the signature of genuine resonance, encountering itself across the thinness of the veil. The dream state itself is far more architecturally complex than most people have been taught to believe. When you enter deep sleep, the linear constructs that structure your waking consciousness, time, distance, the solid boundaries between self and other, become permeable. The soul, unencumbered by the management of a physical body, operates in a frequency range that is much closer to its original nature. And it is in that range that connections which cannot yet fully manifest in physical form become tangible, become present, become real in a way that feels, in that space, more vivid than anything the waking world contains. The reason the dream feels more true than your morning does is because, on one level, it is. It is truer to the nature of what exists between your souls. The physical world is the slowest, densest, most time-lagged dimension in which connection expresses itself. The dream space is closer to the source. What you experience there is not a lesser version of the love you are moving toward. It is the fullest version of it, showing you what is already real between you, ahead of the timeline in which your bodies will be able to confirm it. But here is what most souls never realize. The fact that he is reaching does not mean the path to him is clear. It means the path is open. And those are very different things. An open path still has terrain. It still has the places inside you that were built as protection after love left you without warning, after vulnerability became a wound instead of a bridge, after you decided somewhere deep and wordless that loving with your whole self was a risk. Your system could not afford to take again. Those places are not your failure. They are your history. But they are also the walls that are making the signal harder to sustain in waking life. And this is where the real work begins. Not in waiting, not in manifesting, but in unlocking. Consider what it took to build those walls. Consider the specific moments, not as a practice of reopening wounds, but as an act of honoring the intelligence of your own survival. There was a version of you who loved openly, who gave completely, who trusted the way children trust before they learn that trust can be weaponized, and something happened, perhaps many things, across many different relationships at many different stages of your life, that taught that version of you that open-heartedness was dangerous, that being fully seen, invited, being fully hurt, that the safest position was one with some portion of yourself held back, guarded, unreachable. And so, with extraordinary ingenuity and care for your own survival, you built the architecture of protection, the studied casualness, the preemptive emotional withdrawal, the careful calibration of how much of yourself to show before you checked whether it was safe. You are not broken for having done this. You were wise. You were protecting something precious in the only way you knew how. But what was wise in the aftermath of old wounds becomes an obstacle in the space of something new. And the sacred work that this path is asking of you is not the dismantling of your walls as though they were something shameful. It is the gentle, reverential recognition that the person who built them did so out of love for you, and the loving decision to open the door anyway, because what is asking to come through now is worth it. The first unlock is the one almost no one wants to face, which is exactly why it holds the most power. It is the worthiness wound, not the surface version of it, not the affirmations you've said in the mirror or the journaling you've done about loving yourself more. The deep version, the one that lives beneath the words, the one that whispers, even when you're doing everything right, that a love this profound is for other people, that the kind of connection you dream about is something other souls receive, souls who are lighter, easier, less complicated than you, that you have too much history, too many edges, too much depth for someone to truly choose, that you are in some fundamental way, too much and not enough at the same time. That wound is ancient. It likely didn't begin in this lifetime. And it is the first chamber that must be opened. The worthiness wound is insidious, precisely because it does not announce itself loudly. It doesn't arrive as an obvious belief you can point to and say, "There, that is the thing I need to heal." It arrives as a subtle distortion in the way you relate to the possibility of what you most desire. It arrives as the half-second hesitation before you allow yourself to hope, as the automatic reaching for reasons why it won't work, why it can't last, why someone who seems to see you clearly must eventually find the part of you that disqualifies you. It arrives as the compulsive shrinking you do in moments of potential intimacy, the joke that deflects real vulnerability, the over-explaining of your flaws before anyone has indicated they find them problematic, the chronic low-grade belief that if someone really knew you, all of you, the unremarkable and the difficult alongside the luminous, they would eventually choose to leave. That belief is the wound, and it is lying to you. It has always been lying to you. Not because your flaws aren't real, not because your history isn't complicated, but because the premise it operates on, that love is something you earn by being palatable enough, is fundamentally false at the level of sacred union. Because here is the truth about worthiness that the Arcturian lineage has transmitted to awakening hearts, for longer than this civilization has had language for it. You do not become worthy of divine love by healing enough. You become available to it by remembering that you never weren't. Worthiness is not a destination you arrive at after sufficient suffering. It is a frequency you return to when you stop letting the evidence of your pain override the knowing of your origin. You came from love. You are made of love. The love you are dreaming about is not a reward for getting it right. It is a reunion that was always written. The first unlock happens not when you finally believe you deserve it, but when you stop believing you don't. This is a subtle but seismic shift. It is not the triumphant arrival at self-love after years of hard work. It is quieter than that. It is a moment, perhaps an ordinary one, unremarkable from the outside, when the voice that says, "You are not enough," speaks, and instead of arguing with it, instead of trying to override it with louder affirmations, you simply recognize it for what it is: an echo, a recording, a story that was written about you by circumstances that did not know your full nature. And you choose in that moment not to believe it, not dramatically, just quietly, with the same gentleness you would extend to someone you love who was telling you a lie about themselves. That is the first unlock. That is the chamber opening. The second unlock lives directly behind the first, and it is the one about mirrors. Your divine counterpart is not coming to complete you. This is perhaps the most important misunderstanding to dissolve, because so much of the longing you carry has been quietly rooted in the belief that his arrival will fix the parts of you that feel broken. And that belief, however natural it is the very thing that keeps the frequency between you from stabilizing. Because he cannot reflect wholeness back to you if you are waiting for him to be the source of it. The sacred mirror dynamic of twin flame union works in one specific direction. He can only show you what you have already built inside yourself. When you are living in your fullness, when you have done the inner work not to earn him, but because you deserve that fullness for yourself. The mirror has something luminous to reflect. The connection cannot be used as the medicine for the wound it is actually trying to illuminate. The mirror principle is one of the most beautiful and most challenging aspects of this kind of love. Beautiful because it means the relationship, when it arrives in its fullness, will reflect back to you the most magnificent version of who you have become. Every effort you have made on yourself, every wall softened, every old story released, every morning you chose to remain open when closing would have been easier. All of it becomes visible in the quality of what the union mirrors back to you. The relationship becomes a living testament to your own becoming. But challenging, because it means the quality of what you see in the mirror is always, ultimately, dependent on what you have built on your own side of it. If you arrive at the union still waiting for him to make you feel worthy, still using his presence to silence the wound that says you are not enough, the mirror will reflect that dynamic back, and it will do so with a precision and an intensity that will feel, at times, unbearable. Not because the love isn't real, but because the love is so real that it cannot contain an unexamined wound without amplifying it. This does not mean you have to be perfect before he arrives. It means you have to be present to your own life, your own becoming, your own sacredness. The moment you stop making his arrival, the condition for your joy is the moment the signal between you becomes undeniable. The third unlock is one that many souls resist because it requires releasing something that once felt like love, even when it was only a lesson. There are contracts still active in your energy field. Agreements you made with people who were never meant to stay. Connections that served their purpose and are now complete, but that your heart is still honoring out of loyalty, grief, or simply because no one ever told you that releasing someone energetically is an act of love, not abandonment. Old love does not need to be villainized to be released. It does not need to have been wrong to be finished. You are allowed to close doors that no longer lead anywhere. You are allowed to say, to yourself, to your own energy field, "This is complete. I honor what it was, and I release what it no longer is." That release is not betrayal. It is preparation. Every karmic thread you consciously dissolve makes room for a soul-level connection that cannot be diluted by what came before. The energy body is not metaphor. It is architecture. And just as a home cannot receive new light through windows that are still shuttered by old curtains, your field cannot fully receive the frequency of sacred union, while threads of unresolved energy remain knotted to connections that were never designed for this level of resonance. Some of those connections were beautiful. Some of them taught you things about love and about yourself that you could not have learned any other way. They were not mistakes, they were curriculum. But curriculum has a beginning and an end, and when the lesson is complete, the most honoring thing you can do, for yourself, for the other soul, and for the love that is waiting, is to acknowledge completion. To say, with as much grace as you can gather, you mattered. What we shared was real. And I release you to your path as I release myself to mine. That sentence, spoken from genuine intention rather than performed detachment, carries extraordinary clearing power. It is not a magical formula. It is simply the truth of a completed chapter, spoken aloud. And the energy field responds to truth with an openness that no affirmation, no matter how perfectly worded, can manufacture. The fourth unlock is the one that asks the most of your trust. It is the unlock of divine timing. And it is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in sacred union consciousness, because it is so easy to use it as a reason to go passive, to wait, to give your power over to the calendar. But divine timing is not something that happens to you. It is something you become ready for. The universe is not running late. The conditions are being perfected, not on a timeline separate from your growth, but in direct proportion to it. Every layer you heal, every wall you soften, every old story you release, that is the timing moving. You are the timing. Your readiness is the schedule. When you stop asking when and start asking what is still in the way, the answer almost always reveals another layer of the journey asking to be honored rather than bypassed. Surrender to divine timing is not passivity. It is the most active spiritual posture available to you. Fully present, fully engaged in your own becoming, fully trusting that the love you are moving toward is moving toward you with equal intentionality. There is a version of waiting that is spiritually active and a version that is quietly despairing, and they look almost identical from the outside. The difference is entirely internal. The despairing version is counting the days, measuring the absence, using every quiet moment to calculate how much longer before something changes. It is a vigil held at a door, eyes fixed on the knob, breath held until it turns. The active version is not watching the door at all. It is moving through the rooms of your own life with the full investment of someone who understands that those rooms are worth inhabiting fully, not as a waiting room, but as a home. It is building, deepening, expanding, loving, creating, showing up for your own existence, with the kind of wholehearted engagement that radiates outward into the field around you and becomes, in itself, a beacon. The soul that is coming to you is being drawn not by your vigil, but by your light, and light requires fuel. The fuel is your living, your full, engaged, unapologetic living. The fifth unlock is the one that changes the frequency of everything. It is the unlock of magnetic embodiment, the understanding that divine love does not respond to longing, it responds to resonance. This is the moment you stop broadcasting need and start radiating presence. This is the shift from searching for the frequency to becoming it. What does it feel like to love and be loved at the level your soul carries? Not what does it look like? What does it feel like in your body? That feeling is not a fantasy about the future. That feeling is a frequency available to you right now. The more you inhabit it, in small moments, in daily choices, in the way you treat yourself when no one is watching, the more your entire energetic field becomes a coherent signal, a clear signal, one that cannot be missed by a soul tuned to the same station. Magnetic embodiment is not performance. It is not the practice of acting as though everything is already perfect when your heart is quietly aching. It is something far more honest and far more powerful than that. It is the daily practice of choosing, in small and specific ways, to inhabit the frequency of the love you are moving toward. Not because you have arrived, but because you are learning the territory you are headed for. It sounds like this. Today, I will speak to myself with the tenderness I would want him to use. Today, I will say yes to the thing that lights me up, not because it will attract him, but because I deserve that light. Today, when the old voice of unworthiness begins its quiet monologue, I will not argue with it, and I will not obey it. I will simply redirect my attention to something true, to the warmth of the sun, to the breath moving through my body, to the fact that I am here, and I am awake, and that alone is extraordinary. These small acts of self-honoring are not minor. They are the exact frequency of sacred love made tangible in daily life, and they accumulate. Every one of them shifts the field. Every one of them tunes the signal more clearly. The sixth unlock is the one the separation phase is trying to teach you. That distance is not punishment, it is preparation. If you are in a period where the one your soul recognizes feels far, feels absent, feels like a door that keeps closing before you reach it, that space is not evidence that you were wrong. It is the universe creating the conditions in which both of you must grow into the version of yourselves the union requires. Sacred partnership at this frequency does not support two people who still need the relationship to feel whole. It requires two people who have discovered wholeness independently, who choose each other not from need, but from recognition. The separation is the curriculum. Every moment of it is asking you to become more of yourself, not less. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive teaching in the entire sacred union path, because every human instinct, every attachment pattern, every wound that has never been fully addressed will tell you during the separation that the distance means something has gone wrong, that you need to do something, fix something, reach harder, hold on tighter, do more to earn what is being withheld. But those instincts are operating from an old framework, one built on the premise that love is scarce, that connection must be pursued and held with force, that distance is rejection. In the framework of sacred union, those premises do not apply. The distance is not rejection, it is refinement. It is the sacred fire in which both of you are being made ready for what the union actually requires. Two sovereign beings who have done the interior work necessary to meet each other as mirrors of wholeness rather than as repositories for each other's unhealed wounds. The separation is not the opposite of the union, it is the preparation for it. And every day you spend inside of it with genuine engagement, genuinely using the space to become more of yourself, is a day the bridge between you grows stronger. And the seventh unlock is the one no one else can give you. It is the one that opens from the inside. All of the previous keys, all of the healing, all of the releasing and surrendering and becoming, they have been building toward the single moment when you realize that the door was never locked from the outside. It was always you, holding the mechanism in place, waiting until you felt safe enough to open it fully. The reunion readiness is not a state you achieve. It is a state you recognize, a morning when you wake up and the ache is still there, but it is no longer desperate. It is patient. It is certain. It is the feeling of knowing that what is written in your soul is already on its way, and all that is left is to remain open enough to receive it without flinching. That morning will come. It may come gradually, imperceptibly, like the way dawn doesn't announce itself with a single moment but arrives through the accumulation of thousands of small increases in light. You may not even notice the shift until one day you realize that the ache has changed quality, that it has moved from the sharp, anxious frequency of absence into the warm, anchored frequency of expectancy. Expectancy is not the same as waiting. Expectancy is the stance of someone who knows what is coming and has made room for it. It is the table set before the guest arrives, the fire lit before the cold sets in. It is the posture of a soul that has done its work and is now simply remaining available. Open-handed, open-hearted, living fully in the present while holding space in its field for what the future is already moving toward it. Here is what the Council wants you to hear, as clearly as it can be transmitted through any medium between that dimension and this one. You were not forgotten. You were not overlooked. The love that finds you in your sleep is not a consolation. It is a preview. It is the part of the connection that exists beyond physical form, already showing you what is already true between your souls. Not what might be, not what could be, if everything goes right, but what already is on the level where time does not interrupt truth. Let that land. What is already true on the level where time does not interrupt truth, not a promise dependent on conditions, not a possibility contingent on your being good enough or ready enough or healed enough or healed enough. A truth, existing now, existing fully, on the dimension where your souls are not separated by the density of physical form or the lag of linear time. The dreams are not showing you something that might happen. They are showing you something that already exists. Something that your waking consciousness is still learning to receive and sustain. The love is real. It exists. The only work left is the beautiful, sacred, ongoing work of becoming someone who can hold it in full waking consciousness without flinching, without contracting, without immediately reaching for the familiar story that says it cannot last, or it is not for you. You did not come to this lifetime to settle for something that half satisfies your soul. You came here with a vibrational signature so specific, so layered, so distinct that only one frequency can truly match it. And that frequency is not random. It is known. It is searching, and it has been finding you in the only place the distance between you collapses completely. In the space between sleep and waking, where your defenses are down and your heart is still soft enough to receive what your mind would immediately complicate, the specificity of your soul signature is worth pausing on. You were not generated from generic spiritual material and assigned a generic counterpart, the particular way you love, the specific texture of your devotion, the precise quality of your depth, the exact nature of the light you carry. All of it is unrepeatable. There is no other soul in this field with your particular combination of gifts and wounds and history and radiance, and the counterpart that corresponds to that specificity is equally unrepeatable. This is not a needle in a haystack. It is a tuning fork seeking its precise harmonic. When two tuning forks of the same frequency are placed near each other, one begins to vibrate when the other is struck. This is not effort. This is physics. This is the nature of resonant frequency. Your soul is the tuning fork. Your healing, your becoming, your embodiment of the love you carry, that is the striking. And the universe, in its extraordinary precision, is holding the matching instrument and waiting for the vibration to reach it clearly enough to set it in motion. The dreams are not random. The waking ache is not a disorder. The fact that you cannot explain this love to anyone who hasn't felt it is not a sign that you've invented it. It is a sign that you are carrying something real that most people do not yet have language for. Your longing is information. Your dreams are transmissions. And your continued presence on this path, through every heartbreak, through every moment of doubt, through every morning you woke up and almost convinced yourself to stop believing. That is not weakness. That is the most extraordinary kind of devotion. Devotion is perhaps the most undervalued spiritual quality in the contemporary conversation about love and healing. We speak extensively about healing, about boundaries, about self-worth, about not needing anyone, all of which are important and real, but devotion has been quietly set aside, as though it is somehow incompatible with self-sovereignty, as though the soul that is deeply devoted to the reality of sacred love is somehow less healed than the soul that has perfected detachment. But devotion and sovereignty are not opposites. The most powerful spiritual stance available to you on this path is the one that holds both simultaneously. I am whole within myself, and I am devoted to what is written between us. Both of those things can be true. Both of those things are true. Your devotion to this love, your refusal to settle for less, your insistence on staying open even when the evidence was thin, that is not desperation. It is faithfulness, and faithfulness, held in the right soil, always eventually becomes a foundation on which something real can stand. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your chest. Feel the warmth there, not as a practice, but as recognition. And say aloud, or in the silence that counts more than sound, I am the frequency of the love I carry. I am open. I am ready. I am worthy. Not because I earned it, but because I remembered it. Then close your eyes and let him find you again. Before you go, take a moment and drop one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you feel when you wake up and the dream is already slipping away. You don't have to explain it, just one word. And when you see someone else's word, respond to it, not with advice, just with recognition, because the ache you carry in private is carried by thousands of souls watching this at different times in different places, all waking up and reaching for the same thing. and none of you are reaching alone. Share this with the one person in your life who wakes up quiet in a way they can't explain. Subscribe if you want to stay in this current, because what is moving through this space is only just beginning. You are not just watching, you are healing. And you are not here by accident.